Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Invisible Walls, episode 200, right here on GameTrailers.com. We are in our brand new live streaming room. It's the first time we've used it. You're going to see a lot of it going forward. We have a huge show for you guys today. I do have a little bit of housekeeping I want to get through. We have a lot of giveaways for you guys. It's a little complicated, so pay attention. Most importantly, you need to make sure you're following Invisible Walls and Side Mission on Twitter, and make sure that you've liked the GameTrailers.com Facebook page. And here's how it's all going to work out. We have 500 Diablo 3 beta keys. So we're going to be batching those together and just throwing them out on those accounts. So make sure you have like a little window down there that opens so you can make sure you grab those codes. Maybe you want to grab the last one. Maybe you want to grab the next to last one. It's all about your strategy. Good luck with that. But we do have 500 and we have a ton. We are also giving away a ton of video game t-shirts today, and I know they're not easy to come by if you don't work in the industry, so we want to make sure that we get these out to you guys. However, there's a twist. These are quiz-based giveaways. So if you've watched Invisible Walls or you're a fan of Game Trailers for a long time, the chances of winning these is going to be a lot higher because the first 5 people to answer the questions right are the people who are going to get the t-shirts. So, you know, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported the show throughout all the years. March 13th will be 4 years for this show, which is hard to believe. It seems like it's gone by in the blink of an eye.
I can't believe they're still paying us.
You get paid?
I do. Fuck. In bottles of water with no labels on.
So it's been 4 years. A lot of the quizzes are going to go back to the beginning of Invisible Walls, some of the early segments that were on GameTrailers.com. So if you are a fan, you have a distinct advantage. So before we get onto the show, I want to introduce everybody. Of course, by now you all know Marcus Beer.
Happy St. David's Day to all my Welsh people. I am wearing my rugby jersey, represent Triple Crown. And thank you to everybody at 200. I mean, that's huge. There's not many even TV shows that get to 200. So it's good to be here. You guys rock. And yeah, thanks to the Euros especially, staying up so late or early, whichever you prefer. I hope you're drunk.
Yeah, big thanks to the people in Europe staying up late, man. I mean, you guys 2, 3 in the morning right now, and mad respect for you guys for hanging out there. And hopefully you have a drink in hand and you get your feet kicked up. Ryan Stevens is here today, as always.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. I also have to be here.
So the 3 of us are going to be on the show for the most part the whole way through. We're going to be cycling people in and out. We have guests today. Naughty Dog is coming in. We have a couple other surprises. But right now, Justin Spear, the Quiet Storm, is here on Invisible Walls Live.
Yo. That's it for me.
A man of few words, but he carries a big stick. And the reason we have Justin here
Marcus?
first...
No comment.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm being good today.
One of the things we're doing on the show today is we are debuting a lot of segments that are going to be a part of Game Trailers going forward. You'll see these will be recurring things that we're going to go back to, but we want to show them to you guys first because you're the real fans of GT. Obviously, feel free to share your opinions. We know you're going to do that anyway. But Justin is here at the top of the show to introduce what I think is the best of the new segments. Justin, tee it up.
You're probably right. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty awesome. Breeding pool is basically it's the made-up science of video game genealogy. So we have a game that is not revealed.
You don't know what it is. Yeah. So the whole idea is you're trying to guess what the game is.
Yeah. So we'll give some clues. We'll show some ancestors, some genetic makeup, and then we'll show you the game in the second half of the show. Let's take a look.
All right, so remember, all those clues in that video are supposed to help you guess what the game is, and later on in the show, we'll reveal exactly what that game is. Just for a little bit of a hint, I'll let you know that the game has come out in the last 6 months.
So it's not
I don't know how much that helps when there was about 8,000 games that came out in November and December, but...
So it's not Chucky Egg then?
No, it's definitely not. It doesn't go way back. I want to give you guys a chance to at least figure out what it is. So we are now ready to do our first t-shirt giveaway. Also, right now, we are releasing the first batch of Diablo codes on the Invisible Walls Twitter. So go get them. But first, let's get to the first quiz question, and it is, how many games have received a perfect 10 on GameTrailers.com? Now, you need to reply to the Invisible Walls Twitter with this. The first 5 people to get the answer right is going to get a t-shirt.
And that's a review score, not an audience score.
Right. Have we, how many games has GameTrailers as an editorial team given a perfect 10 to? So, at Invisible Walls, first 5 people get a free t-shirt. Good luck. And so, one bad thing about this is that, we're pretty busy here. Not everybody could make it here for Invisible Walls 200. One of the people on our editorial staff that could not show up is Michael Mcwhorter. He is the managing editor of Side Mission, which is our brand new news blog here on GameTrailers. So he was not able to make it, but he was lucky enough to go and check out Max Payne 3 a couple weeks ago. He got to play a couple hours of the game, and he has actually put together a report to share with you guys about Max Payne 3. So let's take a look.
I'm Michael Mcwhorter. I'm the managing editor of GameTrailers' Side Mission news blog. I wish I could be with you guys. I wish I could be with my GameTrailers colleagues for Invisible Walls 200 live, but I'm at an event right now. But I wanted to make sure I got to talk to you a little bit about Max Payne 3, which I got to play a couple weeks ago in San Francisco. Played about 90 minutes of it. And I just wanted to talk briefly about it. There's a story up on Side Mission right now where I give my full impressions of the 90 minutes worth of gameplay that I experienced. But I have to say, I have a lot of confidence that Rockstar is going to be able to pull off this Max Payne. It's a lot of fun. I will say that the gunplay, the action, the set pieces were really impressive. It's very much like a very action-oriented third-person shooter. And they actually do a very good job of pulling this all together and weaving a lot of story into this game. There's some really great up and down action moments. They put a lot of really neat story elements into it. They dole out some really great dialogue, which is something that Rockstar is really known for. But it really does retain a lot of that Max Payne momentum in that it has the great bullet time sequences. There's a lot of really great John Woo style gunfights. And I really think that Rockstar is primed to pull this off. Check out the full impressions over at Side Mission right now, and we'll see more soon.
All right, now we have our first special guest for Invisible Walls 200. We have been graced with the presence of Naughty Dog here in our studio. We have Justin Richmond. He's the guy with the beard.
Yes. Hello.
And he's the game director for Uncharted 3.
That's right.
And we have Robert Cogburn, not Coburn.
No, Cogburn.
Cogburn.
James Coburn, that's what I call him.
And he is the multiplayer lead for Uncharted 3.
Correct. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Pleasure
It's a
to be
shame we
here.
had to wait for 200 to get you guys on here, but I'm glad you finally made it across the street for
Yes.
Invisible Walls.
Long distance.
What has it been like for you guys since the release of Uncharted 3? Obviously, a lot of accolades. We gave your game Game of the Year. What's it been like? Have the sales worked out the way you guys had hoped? Has the response from fans been the way you'd hoped? How's that all played out?
How's the hangover?
Yeah.
Hangover
You guys
was
get
tough.
back from vacation?
Yeah, it was tough. No, it was great. I mean, obviously, we're super happy with the response. I mean, I think it's always nerve-wracking to put one of these things out and be like, oh my God, what are people going to think about it? But it's been overwhelmingly positive response, and awards and stuff are always nice. But it's good to hear that the fans like the game. I think it's the big thing for me anyway, is that fans are like, yeah, this game is awesome. And then on top of that, I think we've been really lucky in terms of the sales. It's been selling much better than Uncharted 2 did even.
That's great.
Like year on year.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Can you still eat Subway sandwiches?
I can still.
I was wondering. It's actually a Subway right in your building.
Yeah, it's right, like the next building over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I am
Christoph
buying a
there.
yacht. And you guys are invited.
Right on.
Yeah, for sure.
Not with this Uncharted money. He sells some Google stock. So.
Now, obviously, once a game is released, multiplayer is kind of the thing that you continue working on to keep supporting the community. How has the multiplayer response been to Uncharted 3, and what kind of things are you guys targeting for future development?
I mean, it's been huge, right? The shift from 2 to 3, the community's expanded so much. So many more hardcore players out there, and
just more players in general.
Yeah.
We're seeing a big increase in the numbers of people who are playing the game just in general. Our day-to-day.
And sticking around and sticking with it. And
and that's been the greatest thing, right? I mean, the game's been out for how long now? It's been, what, a little over 4 months?
Yeah.
And we're still hitting numbers that we didn't think we'd be at right now. It's been a real pleasure. And how things have changed, I mean, we're just constantly listening to the community. I mean, I know when we released, we kind of got off on the wrong foot, removing stopping power, which is when you get hit with bullets, it slows you down. And we kind of put that back in because of the outcry that came from everybody. It was helpful. It was really helpful.
Is a game ever really done?
No.
When you have patches and stuff like that?
No, there's a laundry list of things that internally we want to fix, and in the community they want to see fixed.
Do you slide that kind of into just patches, or do you sometimes wait for the DLC drops?
It depends how important it is. I mean, if it's something that we think is critical to gameplay, we would try to put it in. And then some stuff you have to patch. I mean, some stuff's either bug fixes or like a fundamental change to the way the systems work or whatever, then we have to patch. And then we obviously released a bunch of DLC already. Yep. We have plans to do even more. We've got, the flashback maps are out now, which are part of the Fortune Hunters edition, or Fortune Hunter Club, which is really cool. It's a bunch of remastered maps from Uncharted 2. It's all the fan favorites. And then a bunch of character skins and stuff have gone out. We have even more character skins and stuff that are going out in the future. And then we just did the Shades stuff. I'm talking about that.
Yeah, we got a new DLC coming out. It's co-op Shade Survival, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone watching, but some of the
away.
Stop listening just for a bit.
Yeah.
World exclusive.
Yeah.
And we'll go. So the characters you face at the end of the game, right? It's now you're gonna face them in arena mode. And not only is it survival, but we've also done like Marked Man. Marked Man was a power play that we do in competitive, where we mark the top player, and killing him you get more points. Well, this time it's a marked NPC, and it's a Shade, and he has his guards, and he's teleporting around, and they're teleporting with him.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really challenging. We're really excited about that, and I guess this is an exclusive for you guys in some regard. Yeah,
We like that.
we're bringing back the labs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The labs from Uncharted 2 were incredibly popular, and now we're starting to get the bandwidth to kind of focus on these and get these going.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing them back for Uncharted 3.
We're going to do some new stuff too. Look for not just modes and stuff, but possibly even doing custom maps and things like that for the lab. So we're really excited. A bunch of really cool stuff like that. We're trying to view it as sort of almost more of a playground this time, where it's like, what could we design that we wouldn't necessarily let ourselves do, but as a test, let's just try it out.
Yeah, we got something coming we'll talk about later that's
Yeah.
really a designer's dream. So, and I'm really looking forward to talking about it when we get
So
it.
this is where you want to officially announce Uncharted 4? Great Rises.
Uncarded for you mean?
Don't tell them.
Now, what's it like to work on a game and kind of have your own ideas about a game? And then you mentioned, fan feedback eventually got you to change the game to the way the fans wanted it. What is that like to kind of deal with as a developer?
You just got to follow your gut.
You just go with it.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, part of the thing is if you're going to make a multiplayer game and have a community that's active like you want, then part of that is listening to the community and I think and trying to figure out what people are interested in doing and how they're playing the game, and not the way once you put it out in the wild, it's no longer.
Oh, hey.
What?
What?
Who did what? Hey?
Oh, wow, you guys just missed it. They just gave us the scoop on Uncharted 4, but... Sorry.
Man.
Yeah.
That was...
Actually, we do apologize. Obviously, we had some technical difficulties, but we are back, and Naughty Dog is still here. They did not leave during the technical outage, so thanks for sticking with us. We apologize for that. Now, guys, how long do you support a game? Is it just totally based upon the community response, or do you guys have, in your plan, okay, at this point is where we kind of need to move on and start working on the next project?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely that sort of, it's a tough call, right? I mean, in Uncharted 2, there was definitely a point where you got to say stop, because you got to start working on something else.
Yeah, we still had the labs for almost the entire time up until the beta, almost, right?
But I just, at some point, though, you got to go, Hey man, I mean,
is what it
we
is.
got the manpower that we have is only capable of dealing with so much.
Yeah.
But with the way things are looking right now, I think we're going to be supporting Uncharted 3 for an incredibly long time, especially with stuff that we'll be announcing later. I think the community is going to really dig it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I mean, you won a slew of awards last year for Uncharted 3. As a game designer, I mean, obviously the Game of the Year is obviously great, the pinnacle, but have there been any particular category of award that's been really satisfying to you where it's like, yes, people got it, you know, like voice acting or story or just the, you know, the graphics? I mean, the cinematic aspect of Uncharted is phenomenal.
I mean, I know Justin can probably talk more about that than I, but the big win for me was DICE. We got nominated for multiplayer connectivity. And, you know, internally we felt like some of the stuff we did with our YouTube channel, Facebook connectivity, our treasure system on Facebook, stuff like that, was pretty innovative stuff. And it was such a pleasure to sort of get recognized by our peers for it.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think winning the WGA again was pretty awesome. Amy Hennig won the Writers Guild Award for video game writing, which was awesome and really flattering. And we won a bunch of art awards at DICE this war, the AIAS Awards again this year, which is really awesome.
Do you care more about those awards than any others? With all due respect to the Game Trailer Game of the Year award.
No, I mean, the difference is that they're voted on by our peers, and so in some sense that does mean a little bit more. That's sort of insulting. That's not how I mean it, but there's something about the fact that it's other people that are making games that are voting for it as well. That is definitely a nice feeling when you win those awards. But I mean, it's nice to win the VGAs too. You know, it's nice to win all those other awards also. But yeah, I think there is something special about the AIAS awards, and I think they're really cool. So
Now, I know you guys aren't. Maybe you are actively working on The Last of Us, and I know that's still early on.
We're not, but the team is actively working on it.
But there was the newspaper connection in the opening scene to Uncharted 3, and I'm just kind of curious, do you guys see yourself doing more of this kind of Naughty Dog's building themselves up to be more than a one-game brand? I mean, no offense to Jack, we haven't seen him in a while.
Sure.
Actually, but the precursor worms showed up.
Just for you guys.
Well, I mean, obviously we have the two teams now.
Do you see there's going to be a lot of interplay between the teams?
Well, there is definitely. So in the sense of like a working relationship, yeah. I mean, we all sit together. I mean, like the designers for Uncharted and designers for The Last of Us are all like literally sitting next to each other. I mean, the guys who sit behind me are working on The Last of Us. So there's lots to talk about. You know, hey, how does this work, or what is this thing, or what is this? You know, what is this?
It's great to stand up and go, I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, exactly. Sit down, Robert.
So now we've got you here. I mean, we've locked the door. There's no PR people in here. Shane, you got some questions?
Yeah. Last of Us this year?
We can't talk about it. Sorry. All Last of Us is off the table pretty much. I mean, we're being pretty cagey about the stuff that we're doing, but we'll see. I mean, we'll release it when it's done. You know,
Are you guys renting Night of the Triffids a lot?
Day of the Triffids.
It's the Day of the Triffids, right?
Day of the Triffids. Get your British
I apologize. Dr. Wash?
But it's funny. I mean, like you mentioned, like the newspaper in Uncharted 3, which
that was really
funny
clever.
that it actually hit like literally the day before. I think the VGAs, like right before we were going to announce, and it was kind of like, oh my god, like they found it. You know? Like, we knew people would find it eventually, and there actually is. I will say, there's another Easter egg from The Last of Us in Uncharted 3 that no one has mentioned online yet.
No one has found it
No
yet.
one has found it yet.
There
Damiani,
you
get
go,
on it.
people. Anyone who finds it, a free video game T-shirt, I promise.
That's the other one's really buried. I will say.
Really?
So I'm not. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's something to go look for.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for
very much.
making amazing video games and making my job so much easier and more enjoyable. I really appreciate it. I know a lot of the people that watch the show love your games, so can't wait to see what you guys do with the DLC going forward and
cool.
what you guys eventually do whenever you finish with Uncharted 3 and you start moving on to your next project.
Well,
So-
thank you very much. We really appreciate you
And
guys.
I'd
having
love
us
to get
out.
you all's thoughts on the co-op Shade Arena stuff when it hits.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to play with you guys.
If
Let's do
you watch
You'll be
Invisible
right
Walls,
over.
you know you'll get it.
it. True. Very
All right,
true.
well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. We really appreciate it too.
Adios.
All right, so now we're going to jump right into our next T-shirt giveaway quiz. Also, we are dropping more Diablo 3 beta codes onto the Game Trailers Facebook page right now. As I said, we got 500 to give away, so we got to keep getting through these to make sure you guys all get one. You guys want a Diablo 3 beta code?
Diablo 3 beta
We'll take
code?
care of you
Yeah,
guys
for
before
sure.
you take off.
Follow us on
No problem.
Twitter.
Last of Us.
Social networking.
All right.
Important.
So the second question for the quiz, and to let you in on the answer from the first one, the first question was, how many games have received a perfect 10 from GameTrailers? The answer to that question is 0. We've never given a perfect 10, so you guys got something to strive for over there.
One tier.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. Never given one out. So the first 5 people got that right. You're getting free shirts. Here is the second question. What was the first ever retrospective on GameTrailers.com? And this one you need to answer at the Side Mission Twitter handle. So make sure you send that to Side Mission. First 5 people to get it right get some t-shirts. So go over and give it a whirl. If you guys have been fans of GT for a while, you should be able to answer that one pretty quickly. So another person who was not able to be here for the taping of the show is Daniel Bloodworth.
He was too tall.
Yeah, he wouldn't fit in our brand new studio, so we couldn't bring him in. He's actually at an event covering it right now. But he did leave something behind for you guys to check out. One of the things we get asked all the time is, what is your office like? What is your environment you work in? What's it like to work there? So we finally decided to answer that for you guys with an office tour of GameTrailers.com. Check it out.
Hey guys, welcome to Invisible Walls episode 200. I'm Daniel Bloodworth, and we're here to give you a tour of the GT offices. Follow me around, and we'll give you an introduction to the people that work here. So this is the capture area. This is basically where we are when people ask if we play games all day. Not really, but this is where we play games all day. Across from the capture stations are edit bays. This is where all the guys that do the hard work to actually cut our videos are stationed. They're in here grinding away all the time. They put all the pieces together and make the final product on GT that looks so awesome. So this is Bobby. He is in charge of all of our post-production, all those lovely editors you just saw. He is their boss.
15 edit bays, delivering a full show to Spike TV. There's not a dull moment back there.
So this is Ryan Stevens' office. You know him well from Invisible Walls, and it's also kind of used as a production dumping ground.
Hello everyone, welcome to my office.
So this is where Brandon Jones, the illustrious voice of GT, lives.
You know, if anybody's on vacation, if anybody got divorced, if anybody is looking to move or needs an apartment or something like that, I always get first dibs on that because I'm right across from the kitchen.
This is where the GT TV crew is running away from. They put on the show, as well as things like bonus round and combat packs, and they're working on GT On and some of our live programs as well. And over here in this corner is their leader, Jeremy Hoffman.
And I have all the fun toys.
All right, so these are the compression guys. They are the ones that are in charge of taking those final videos and putting them up on the site. Over next to them is our graphics team. All right, over here is Michael Mcwhorter's office. He's our new chief of Side Mission and all of our written content and news. He has not had enough time to actually decorate this office yet or request furniture.
I've had those pictures there for quite some time.
And here we have Justin and Miguel, our previews and reviews editors. Justin's here. You know he's an Invisible Walls favorite. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is Editorial Row. If you were wondering what our wonderful, luxurious offices look like, this is it. This is Mike Damiani here, our master of pop fiction. Newer members of the team, Chris, DDR Freak. And here we have the office of our fearless leader of Invisible Walls, Shane Satterfield.
What's up?
So,
I'm actually just texting with Marcus right now about episode 200.
This is also where we lock away all our piles of consoles and things. Shane also has his fun assortment of toys up there as well. This is Rob, who is on WikiCheats, doing all the strategy stuff for us. And then across from him is Rich Brown, one of our wonderful voices, and also one of the guys that keeps track of a lot of the technical side of things.
Hello.
Here at the far end of the offices, we have My Domain, the GameTrailers game library. This is essentially the vault where all of our games are kept. Everything from recent releases to NES games to way too many copies of Dragon Ball. We have controllers, old guitars, all sorts of things here in the GT library. Alright guys, thanks for virtually stopping by. I hope you enjoyed getting a look here at what our offices at GT look like and seeing the people behind the scenes.
All right, so a big part of this show is us interacting with you, and we are about to do our first session of fan Q&A. Let's see what we have in the queue. From Twitter, from Odejax. Are you guys?
Oh,
This
pronunciation.
is a perfect question for right now. Are you guys more nervous of today's live show than you were with the first ever episode of Invisible Walls? I would say before the show started, no, but now that the stream went down, yes.
Well, that's live streaming for
Oh my God, it's Patrick Morales.
Oh, look
where
who
do you come
showed
from?
up.
I heard he likes fighting games.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Patrick Morales has decided to pop in. Patrick, why don't you take the next question?
Sure. This one from Twitter from McKay Hathaway. He asks, Wii U first-party launch titles. Predictions?
Mario.
Pikmin 3, obviously.
Safe to say.
Pikmin 3.
Animal Crossing.
I want to see a Metroid game launch.
You think that's going to happen?
Well, we know Retro's working on something hardcore right now. They just hired a bunch of dudes.
But it's
from a
not
bunch of-
Metroid.
No.
Yeah.
I have a hankering they might be working on Zelda.
Really?
Can I be a bit bold and daring and think outside the box? And
You mean out of the ordinary?
Flame
for you?
Smash?
Wii Music 2.
Oh, what a travesty that would be. They spent all their launch development resources on Wii Music 2.
It's probably going to be Angry Marios, but it's going to cost like $30.
Or Mario
bet
128
you-
finally,
you
after the GameCube.
Tweak them to the flag.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good guesstimation of the stuff we're going to see. A lot of third-party stuff. I think people will be surprised how much is going to be available there for the Wii U launch. I have a feeling that Retro may be working on Zelda.
How about Smash Brothers?
Smash Brothers, I would say no.
Oh, not Retro. I just mean a first-party launch title.
Oh, as far as for a launch game?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It seems to me like it takes a long time for them to develop those games, but it has been a while since the last one, so that could be a possibility. I'm sure we'll see some kind of a mini-game collection that makes use of all the functionality of the Wii U.
Do you think Nintendo could buck the trend and actually make a new franchise that's for the core?
That would be nice.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while. Is Pikmin the last one?
The last one that comes to mind.
And even Pikmin saying that's for the hardcore crowd, that might be a bit of a stretch even, so...
Mother, please.
You know that's not happening.
Yeah.
All right, you got the next question, Mr. Beer.
Yeah, this came in from Twitter from Cox.
Literally, Cox.
At Cox.
What are your thoughts on the Ass Creed 3 leak/reveal? Are you excited? Brand fatigue? Let us know. Well, I will let you know.
There's a surprise.
I actually said before Christmas that the last Assassin's Creed was really a case of brand fatigue for me. Having seen this whole, this Revolutionary War thing, and you've got this box leak today where it's some Indian-looking assassin-y type guy taking down a red coat. I'm wondering, obviously, is it going to be, are they against the English? Are they against both sides? I mean, Ubisoft.
I think it's a great idea. I love the concept.
I think both
I
sides.
already have a lot of ideas. The Federalists are obviously Templars. Ben Franklin's going to give you super awesome bifocals, or a Franklin stove, which you will use.
Can you hug him too?
So what I would say is that if you are playing against both sides or playing off both sides, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I hope you're not on one side or the other. I hope they plant you in the middle and you have to play both sides. Not play as them, but like totally manipulate them. Yeah.
Yeah. Although Ubisoft is a French company, I wouldn't surprise me to see them go after the Brits. But we are going to be at GDC next week, and there's a big reveal for next week. So next week's show, we will be going in depth, hopefully, on Ass Creed 3 Dances with Assassins.
Something that's cool about what they've shown so far is you see the assassin with a tomahawk a lot. So I'm wondering maybe if there's less emphasis on stealth and more on just straight up
all out.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna
guerrilla
kick your
warfare.
ass.
Yeah,
that would be sweet. I think I'm pleasantly surprised. I knew what the setting was for Assassin's Creed quite a while ago. I didn't know what part you were going to play in that whole scenario. And truth be told, I think they've chosen exactly correct, a Native American Indian who has a unique perspective on all the things that happen in this country. I think it's a really, really cool idea, and it could make for some really cool gameplay and a really good story as well.
I wonder if they'll ever bring back that female assassin from that Embers short.
If you talk to somebody here, they would say yes.
Someone named Megan.
Yep, so we are releasing more Diablo 3 beta keys right now. This time they are going up on the Side Mission Twitter account. So go over there, grab the codes. Good luck. We're debuting more new segments for GT on the show, and actually Ryan has the next one. He's going to sort of set it up for you.
That's me. So we play a lot of games here. A lot of us have been playing games since we were wee little children. And we see a lot of the little things that make games, the mechanics. So instead of going into more detail, I think we kind of set it up a lot in the video, so we can roll the video and hopefully that will explain it. For Mechanics, our new show.
Welcome to the first episode of Mechanics, where we'll investigate what makes games tick. From the micro to the macro, the invention of the delightful double jump to the overuse of QuickTime events. Nothing is off the table. Feature creep inquiries, series evolutions, we'll cover it all and ask you to participate with special blog posts on Side Mission. What better way to celebrate the birth of a series than exploring death? We're going to look at death games, namely those in id's mutant-filled wasteland of rage and Prey's spirit-walking outer space abduction. Never Dead would get a nod, but the less said about it, the better. Yes, PC enthusiasts have been abusing quick saves for decades, but the consoles have tended and trended to go with copious checkpoints. Released on multiple platforms, Rage does allow you to save anywhere, although saves only happen at loading areas and, oddly, after playing certain games of chance. Even installed to a hard drive, Rage can take a while to load, making death pretty annoying. Its balancing act greets the Grim Reaper with some fictive gloss. The playing character comes equipped with an internal defibrillator, ready to resuscitate. The minigame that plays out is a simple challenge of analog stick calibration, matching what you see on the screen with the final lineup zap, mimicking those ER moments with the paddles when the doctor shouts clear. It plays out quickly with a soothing blend of asynchronous ambidextrous motions. Do well and you're rewarded with full health, while enemies nearby take a jolt of electricity, meaning death can even be used as a tactic. Do poorly and you'll be at death's doorstep once again, facing a long load and lost progress. Through your struggles in the wasteland, you'll unlock another charge for your defibrillator, but it's by no means an end to all fatality. After deploying, it takes several minutes to recharge, and with Rage's missions being long, you might want to save your game if you see yourself going down repeatedly. The defib fits into the game's fiction, gives a workaround to endless loading, and bucks the trend of modern design's checkpoint bonanza, making acts of daring do a dangerous but tantalizing risk.
What are you looking at?
Like Rage, Prey is a four-letter word, and another FPS. Vaporware that actually materialized, Prey dazzled us with its portal technology and haunted us with its deadly ghost children, as Tommy searched for his girlfriend on a huge alien craft after being abducted. While it's possible to really die in the early parts of Prey, there's a moment maybe an hour in where Tommy goes to meet his maker, just to be stopped with a vision of his grandfather.
This is the land of your fathers, Tommy. The land of the ancients.
Given the ability to leave his skin and spirit walk, Tommy is also spared the discomforts of death. After taking a fatal fall or too much damage, Tommy is transported to a realm of wind and spirits, the latter of which he must shoot to build back his own abilities before being sucked into a sinkhole and spit back into reality. Unlike Rage's minigame, this plays out in controls like the rest of Prey. Now instead of shooting aliens, flipping gravity, and scurrying around tiny planets, Tommy is pivoting and shooting at weird little red and blue wisps, like 1950s 3D lenses gone awry. Prey had set up certain expectations by this point, and creating a mundane shooting gallery is insult to injury. The most egregious stain is actually Tommy's deathless space prance. Unlike Rage's sparse charges, Tommy can suck all the way to victory. Losing progress stinks, but without that threat, the game loses its teeth, where once a harrowing encounter sends you to the spiritual bog, just to unleash you where you last stood. At least when you use a quick save, you're playing with your own destiny, and for anyone who's ever saved at that awkward moment, right before an unavoidable death, knows that the metagame of saves and loads carries its own level of risk.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed Mechanics, and we have a new person on the show right now, the voice of GameTrailers, Brandon Jones.
How's it going, guys?
He's here to intro a brand new GT countdown.
Yeah, this is our first countdown since the top 10 anticipated of 2012, and this is it's the top 10 worst blockbusters. These are the top 10 worst games that sold over 1 million copies, and the full episode's going to go up tomorrow, and we're just going to give you entries 10 through 7. So let's do it.
GT Countdown. Top 10 Worst Blockbusters.
Month after month, sales figures prove the best games aren't always the best-selling games. Sometimes the most unthinkable atrocities blaze past the competition, resting on a big movie or franchise, reinforcing the notion that developers can lazily create a game and still reap benefits. For us to consider a game a blockbuster, it must have sold at least 1 million copies worldwide. There were plenty of less than favorable options to choose from in this exclusive club, but the following 10 releases have us questioning the power of the video game review.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Jar Jar Binks, Orky Day.
Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
You may think that watching The Phantom Menace is a nightmare all on its own, but at least the movie ends after a few hours. The game adaptation of Episode 1 takes fleeting, dismissible moments from the film, like meeting Jar Jar,
Hello, Daily Jedi.
and turns them into nap-inducing expanses of bland, buggy design. We're not surprised it sold as well as it did, and it does have a lot of voiceover for a PS1 game. But half the time you're trudging through each planet's pixeled surface, you can't even tell what you're looking at. Despite its impressive sales, we never got an Episode 2 game for PS1.
I'm so relieved.
Showing that LucasArts at least used to place quality over sales.
Number 9. Kinect Sports: Joyride Adventures.
Though just about everyone has thrown their hat into the casual arena at this point, it's clear from the apparent software success of the Kinect that the motion craze was far from over in 2010. Surprisingly enough, Microsoft's trifecta of launch period mini-game fests all pulled in a cool million, if not more, in sales, bringing us such hits as River Rush and Space Pop. And hey, let's not forget about Kinect Joyride. We pondered putting the Kinect camera on this list on its own, but then we realized that there are at least a couple games worth owning. These three, however, have managed to pull the wool over a lot of people's eyes.
Oh, now sadly, that's a foul.
Number 8. Frogger.
We've got nothing against Frogger. We actually have the same great memories of getting flattened and devoured playing the arcade classic that we're certain many of you do. But when you consider just how unremarkable a remake the 1997 version of Frogger is, it becomes truly baffling how it managed to outsell so many of the PlayStation-era greats, including such titles as Resident Evil 2 and Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, we get it, nostalgia is a powerful force, but anyone who bought Frogger back in the late 90s, in lieu of more deserving games, is at least partially responsible for what we call the Just Dance phenomenon. If you're a guilty party, we hope you're proud of yourself.
Number 7. Wii Music.
Wii Music hasn't been the success Nintendo expected, but it's still sold far more than it deserves, racking up over 1 million units in the US alone. Despite lip service to improvisation, the glorified noisemaker doesn't give you any real control over which notes you're playing, simply triggering outdated samples based on the timing of simple motions. The song selection is characterized by the likes of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and the Bridal March, and the racket made by joke instruments like the dog, cheerleader, and black belt will make any parent regret buying this for their kids. It's the epitome of the Wii craze gone bad.
Welcome back. Like Brandon said, the rest of the countdown will be up tomorrow on Friday, so make sure you stop by and check that out. Right now, as we speak, more Diablo codes are going up on the Invisible Walls Twitter. Make sure you go over there and grab them. We have 500 to give away. Good luck getting one. Now, our next section for fan Q&A. The first question from Easy Gamer 85. I like that. When did Shane and Marcus first meet?
Well,
when did they first fall in love?
It was a blind date. No, it was. It was back in my. I think it was back in my Novalogic days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you were down at G4.
Yep.
And so the first time I met Ryan as well.
That was Joint Ops.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I came down with Joint Ops, and yeah, we did. That would have been 2004.
Yeah, the first time we really got to know each other, and we've talked about this on the show before, was when the first Fear came out. And I came over to Marcus's office to play the game, reviewed the game, and then promptly got a bunch of angry emails and phone calls from Marcus because I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, which took my Metacritic down to 80. Fortunately, the Metacritic bumped back up because the game was that awesome.
Still deserves a 4 out of 5.
It deserved a 4.5, and you know it.
No,
But
you
yes,
know I'm right. Admit I'm right now
No.
that I was right on that score.
No.
And you were only doing your job by yelling at me.
No, No, I still think that game was very good and deserved the Metacritic of 91 that it got.
And I think you're crazy.
Absolutely.
Again.
Love you.
Brandon, you want to take the next question?
Sure. We got it's from Gamer for Life, and if you
it's spelled
the hard way.
hilariously.
If you could own something from any game universe, what would it be, and how would you use it? I would get a lightsaber, and I would use it to bring peace and order to the galaxy. Probably anything jetpack related. Anything giving flight, I think would be a given. Or a portal gun.
Is there any game? Oh, that's a good one. A portal gun. Is there any game with an invisibility cloak?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter game, yeah.
I would choose that.
I'd want to own my own dungeon a la Dungeon Keeper and have my minions mining gold.
Also a fan of freezing time. I mean, we can meet any embargo if we could just.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just freeze everybody, and we go on about our business. Ryan, you want to take the next one?
This is from Tim Morale 1. GDC is just around the corner. Are there any games you wish to see some light shed on? GDC is always a tricky little situation.
Yeah, can we talk about the stuff that's going to be there yet?
Well, we'll be going to see some publishers. We're not really quite sure. Let's just say if you've been following some big magazine cover stories.
Or let's just say if you've been watching this show,
maybe seeing some stuff.
You should probably check out our GDC coverage, because, yeah.
And we will be having a show from GDC next week.
Yeah.
We're going to record on the Wednesday. It'll be back up at the usual time.
And towards the end of the show, we'll kind of fill you guys in on what's going to happen with Invisible Walls going forward. We got some big plans for the show, but we'll talk about that a little later. But for now, we're going to roll to another package. This is another package that Daniel Bloodworth put together.
He was so tall he could do two.
He could do two. Last year, we finally introduced a sound category into our Game of the Year awards, and I have to say, Bloodworth has been sort of the trailblazer in this realm. He's really wanted to start working with music a lot more, and so he has created this new segment called Backtrack, where we go back and look at music production in video games from the past. Eventually, it will evolve to include stuff from the future and present games as well. But right now, here is the debut episode from Daniel.
Welcome to Backtrack, GT's new series celebrating the music of video games. Some episodes will focus on the score of a single game, while quarterly mashups highlight the best of recent releases. Plus, we're devising ways to give a voice to the composers as well. We begin with 1994's Donkey Kong Country, a game defined not only by its graphics, but by a score that goes beyond expectations for a side-scrolling platformer. Its songs build momentum and ambiance, and the memorable DK Island swing still defines Donkey Kong to this day. Before DKC, Rare's only musician was David Wise, who worked with the company from 1985 to 2009 on projects such as Battletoads, Wizards and Warriors, and Star Fox Adventures. Joining him on this project are Evelyn Fisher, who would later be known as the voice of Joanna Dark, and Robin Beanland, who only contributed one song to DKC, but later earned the company a BAFTA for his work on Conker's Bad Fur Day. Songs like Cave Dweller Concert and Fear Factory use the environment as inspiration, implementing rhythmic dripping of stalactites or the clattering of machinery. Meanwhile, Northern Hemispheres creates a mounting sense of danger as a blizzard sets in, building tension and tempo as more and more layers of snow fill the screen. Starting as a whimsical, almost ironic pirate tune, a quick drum fill transitions King K. Rool's theme into a rousing rock anthem with a meaty bass line and wailing guitar samples. The stark contrast not only complements the battle's changing pace, but like the title track, it echoes the game's central goal, bringing new life to a character that had long been retired.
All right, time for another T-shirt quiz. The answer to the last one was, and hopefully, 5 of you guys answered this correctly. The question was, what was the first ever retrospective on GameTrailers? And the answer to that was Prince of Persia.
Which is tricky because Mario is at the bottom of the list on the retro page, but it was actually Prince of Persia.
Yep.
And
So if you actually researched it and looked at the dates versus
Right.
just looking at the actual landing page for our retrospectives, you would have got it right. So
Or if you remembered.
Of course, I hope somebody remembers from back in the day.
Yes.
Okay, here's the next question. This one you're going to have to answer on the GameTrailers Facebook page. So just go on the wall and put your answer there. The first 5 people to get it right get video game T-shirts. What trailer did we do the very first pop block for? And that you need to go to our Facebook page to answer that. First 5 people to put it on the wall, get a T-shirt. What trailer did we do our very first pop block for? Good luck with that one as you guys feverishly search our site. We're also dishing out Diablo 3 beta keys right now on Side Mission on Twitter. We're putting out another batch. I know it seems crazy, but we have to get rid of a lot of them. And if you guys are crafty, you should be able to get one at this point. So, Level is a segment that we've been doing for a while on GameTrailers. I think it's a pretty cool segment. It's kind of like a love letter, so to speak, from us to our favorite video games, where we talk about one particular level from a game that we really enjoyed. Matt Blair, who kind of works behind the scenes here at GameTrailers, came to us, said he really wanted to do one. We told him, go ahead and go do it. Here it is.
The open-ended and unfinished Shenmue saga continues to fill its fans with ceaseless heartbreak. Still, every broken heart begins with an undeniable love. The story of Ryo Hazuki's quest for vengeance upon his father's murderer takes him through many twists and turns, though none have achieved the scale of his epic battle at the docks of New Yokosuka with the entirety of the Mad Angels gang.
So you're serious? You aren't? You're on!
The night begins with Ryo and newfound ally Gui Zhang finding themselves in a trap set by Terry, the leader of the Mad Angels. Pitted against one another, Ryo is forced to fight against his friend for the information he so desperately seeks, and for the life of his kidnapped companion, Nozomi. As the two colleagues wear each other down with an impressive display of evenly matched force, the diabolical leader takes the opportunity to strike, only to have his plan backfire. The panicked Terry calls upon his cohorts for some much-needed backup, causing Ryo and Gui Zhang to fend for their lives against the full power of the Mad Angels, 70 raving criminals, against a backdrop of pure night.
Let me invite you to hell.
Ryo is thrust into a battle against overwhelming odds, suddenly making the hours spent practicing martial arts in a musty dojo or empty parking lot worthwhile. The low-level street thugs put up little fight but come in waves, ensuring Ryo rarely gets a moment to catch his breath. Button spamming is discouraged, with the Angels' blocking prowess growing against repeated moves. Mini-bosses also regularly appear to keep your senses sharp, and Ryo's styles varied. As the body count on the Dreamcast's VMU climbs with each downed punk, you'll strain to recall the button patterns for the most elite techniques to better show off your kung fu mastery. By night's end, the path is littered with the bodies of an entire Japanese street gang, as you sit back feeling proud because you've accomplished a feat of which only the likes of Bruce Lee could boast.
Gotta learn to fight fair.
This epic brawl epitomized the sense of climax in an open-world game during a time when a passionate linear story was not commonly found in sandbox environments. The mixed feelings of fighting for your life while being forced to remember your training and the moments that led you to this struggle are what make this a level for the ages.
Gui-san. What? Thank you. Nah. That's my line.
Shenmue, baby! Is that game as good as you remember it?
I like the sailors. I
Where can
really
you
like
find
the
some
sailors.
I've heard that about you, Ryan.
I think that is one of those games that has a lot of nostalgia for it, but ultimately, like, even just watching that video, you kind of realize, yeah, that game was pretty flippin' corny.
Flippin'? Okay, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
I kind of never got it, to be honest.
What, Shenmue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You think there'll ever be a Shenmue 3, guys?
No.
I don't either.
I never got Shenmue.
Fan project.
It could be maybe a Kickstarter project gets Shenmue 3 made.
As long as like Space Harrier 12 is in it or something.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think that little look back at Shenmue maybe puts a different light on the nostalgia than maybe people might think.
Well,
So-
I would say Matt had a good point, though. It's cool how it does actually make what seems kind of like ridiculous training throughout the game actually mean something in the end.
Well, I remember that level very clearly, and literally my thumb felt like it was going to fall off by the time I got to the end of the thing. Like, it hurt to try to get through that. And
And
yeah.
don't you miss the VMU?
Well, I mean, we're kind of getting the VMU now with the
know.
Wii U.
So excited.
Funny how that's working, right?
Yeah. Shenmue 3 launch title.
Yeah, for the Wii U. All right, so a while ago we did a segment that people loved, we loved. In fact, I think it may have been one of the funniest segments we've ever done on Invisible Walls that we did intentionally to be funny. That segment is called Band Mail, and we are bringing back Band Mail once again just for episode 200. Just to set it up, basically what happens is people do dumb things on game trailers. We ban them. They send us angry emails because we've banned them, and that's what these are. These are the angry emails of the band, and Marcus has the first one.
And it is a doozy. This guy's called Boniscus, and he says, "You just locked my thread about circumcision." But everybody in the thread was still talking about cutting their foreskins off, so the thread was not derailed. P.S. I love you. Where do you even start on this? I mean, this is game trailers, not mutilateyourdick.com. I mean, I'm sure there are sites where you can go and discuss
I gotta
that.
come clean. This is one of my alts. I really like circumcision.
What have you got against foreskins?
You gotta clean it. Smegma.
Oh, God.
Well, you know,
Okay, next question, Miguel.
Okay. This is from Sheepdog, and he says, buy a gun, shoot yourself, and don't have a funeral because your parents, adopted anyway, wouldn't want to waste money on a fuck like you. Get a knife so you'll actually feel something, you fat ass fuck. Fat, 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 fat. I bet you would eat those words too because you would eat anything. That's hurtful, man. Is he talking about me?
You mad, bro?
And that was actually my alt.
I bet you that was Marco.
Yeah, so you can see, you just get a little taste of some of the mail that we get here.
How do you adopt your parents?
Yeah.
Just trying to figure that out.
All right, Ryan has the last band mail.
Okay, this is from an aptly named character named Deleted Account. He asks, or he says, I'll give you a $20 PSN card in a week. Just please unban me. I will give you the PSN card. If not, you can IP ban me. Please? I won't tell anyone. I like it's kind of Faustian, you know, it's kind of like a little tit for tat.
He's essentially trying to bribe us to unban him.
Yeah, but
And I have to admit, man, I just bought, Journey. I got $5 left over.
But not for a week. That's the thing. You can't give you the $20 card now. He'll give it to you in a week.
Mom only gives me allowance.
No,
Right, I'll gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today.
If it had been a Steam $20 voucher, we may have listened, but no.
Yeah. So that's the kind of email we get from the people who are banned, and you can't even imagine what they had to do to get banned in the first place.
Yeah,
So-
what do you have to do to get banned from game trailers these days?
You have to do a
What does
lot.
it take?
Yeah, I don't really want to go into that. I don't want to encourage anybody out there, but it does take a lot. We're pretty tolerant, so if you get banned from GT, you've screwed up pretty freaking bad at this point. All right, so that is Ban Mail 2. Now we're going to move into maybe a little more traditional Invisible Walls discussion. We're going to talk about the new SSX, another game where the reviews seem to be kind of all over the place. I saw Edge gave it a 5 out of 10. That hurts my heart.
Yeah, there's been a real sort of like, slope, if you will, of, from one end to another. I mean, look, it's no pun. It's true.
You're funny.
I got to say, I hadn't played SSX really since Tricky. I really did used to love Tricky when I was working actually at back at Red Storm, and we'd go and play after work, and we'd have a blast. And it just, it was nothing really like it at the time. I think it was just really just a bunch of fun. I think that one of the things that they've stressed for this one is they want to get back to the feel of Tricky, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And I haven't played as much as you, Shane. I know you've put in a shitload of hours, but from what I've played so far, I mean, I'm definitely getting that Tricky vibe. It's not 100% back to what it was, and I don't think it ever will be.
Well, you can see right there, it has Tricky written right on the screen.
It does, and it has a remix of
Run DMC,
its
isn't it?
Tricky.
Yeah.
But I think, I can't see this being a 9 out of 10 game. I think, for me, it's sort of like one of those sort of like mid to low 80s.
Can you see it as an 8.7?
Well, I think it's fun in a lot of ways, but it does suffer from what I call the EA Sports syndrome, where there are in their efforts to really sort of like make the game a lot more accurate, and they do this with FIFA. They do this with NHL, in my opinion.
What are you talking about? You've lost your mind.
No, I haven't lost my mind.
Look, Marcus, did you play this
off
game?
A helicopter.
Well, no, I think honestly,
realistic. You think that game's real? Have you ever stood on a snowboard in your life?
Once.
No, you have not.
No, I swear to you, once Sega did they
on somebody's living room floor.
They sponsored the British snowboarding team in the mid '90s, and they took us to an indoor snowboarding.
Yeah, this doesn't strike me in any way as
once.
Marcus,
I'm just expressing my fucking opinion here. All right,
your opinion is wrong.
No, not at all, because it's just the way I feel. I haven't played this since Tricky, and look, those two are cuddling. This is what happens when mommy and daddy fights, and I'm daddy.
Wait, Shane, you mentioned that the game didn't actually click for you until you played it online.
Well, I didn't say it didn't click for me, but I thought it was too easy, the campaign. And it's funny because I've read reviews where people are like, it's so damn hard. It took me like half the game to get a Tricky. I got 3 Trickies on my first frickin' run in the entire game. So I don't know what the people are talking about difficulty.
You should see a doctor about that.
Are you just a beast? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not that good at it. I mean, the footage here is me playing. People can see I'm not the master or anything. But it's good single player, but where it really gets set off is in multiplayer, because they've set up kind of the auto log system for it online. It's called RiderNet, and essentially all your friends are on there. So if you have like 3 or 4 of your friends on at once, you're kind of jumping around from one track to the next, and by the time you go to one track to try to get your record back on that track and you finish that track, when you finish it, at the menu screen, there's a message saying, this dude just broke 2 of your records.
Right. So
and with one button press, you're immediately zapped to that hill to try to go and get it back. So it's like I said in the review, it's like playing whack-a-mole. Like, you're constantly trying to, like, keep your scores at the top of the leaderboards while other people are doing the same thing. Now, the one caveat with the multiplayer is there's no true head-to-head multiplayer in the game. It's they have these things called global events, and basically if you were to set it up yourself, you can set it for an hour, or it can be like 2 weeks long, and then people can just come in and try to set the best score time over that period, and whenever the period of time ends, then people are kind of cashed out for their points based upon how they placed. Now, you can have other humans playing that at the same time with you, but there's no start and finish line. So you can wait in the helicopter, which is where you start pretty much every race or event.
That's
for
very
the other
realistic,
people to
right?
get there. Yeah, it's realistic. Meanwhile, Marcus is checking his phone in the middle of a live broadcast.
I'm actually keeping up on the
if you paid attention, you'd know that Tricky or SSX is not realistic.
Look, I haven't done a lot of snowboarding, but basically when I played Tricky, it seemed a lot easier to get into, and like I said, I haven't played it in a long time, and I haven't played as much as you. Do I think that? Did I get some Trickies done on my first run? Yes, I did. I didn't get like the super gold Tricky. I think I just got the silver one. But I mean, it's just one of those things that getting used to the momentum and the way it works. I mean, it's for me, it's just it's taking a little while to get into.
Have you played? Was the last extreme sports game you played Tricky?
I think I played some of the Tony Hawk's games. But I mean, Tricky was the last snowboarding game I really did play. But I've said it's not a bad game. I think it's sort of like mid to low 80s for me. I certainly don't agree with the 5 out of 10. It's fun. I mean, and the more I play it, it's the more enjoyable it is.
That's what it really comes down to. It's a blast to play. There's little things you can nitpick on it, but I don't think anybody who buys this game is going to regret it. They're going to have a blast. People are going to come over and play it. It's accessible. It's easy. It makes you feel powerful while you're playing it. I say go buy it, man. If you liked any of the old SSX games, no reason to not go buy this game.
Unless you like skiing.
Which there are no skiing games anymore, so.
That's a damn shame.
So now we are going to debut one of the exclusives for the show today. This exclusive is for the best baseball game on the market, or at least it has been for the last several years, exclusively for the PlayStation 3, MLB 12, The Show.
Yo.
All right, welcome back. We actually have a couple new guests on the show right now. Mike Damiani has stepped behind the director's seat to come on the show.
Hey guys, what's up?
Been doing a great job directing the show so far. At least I think he has.
Yeah, I hope I don't have a heart attack, so yeah.
I'm surprised you were still upright after the stream drop there for a couple minutes. I thought you might just keel over.
Yeah, I mean, it's intense, so, thanks for your patience with us, guys. We hope you enjoy this. So.
Yeah. And also, sitting next to him is Misty Dawn.
Hello.
And she's here to talk with us about a very important topic, and I think something that's been generating a lot of, I don't know what the right word is for furor. I know it got me pretty pissed off and riled up. Marcus, you want to set it all up?
Yeah, I mean, look, I did this last week in my rant where I talked about the whole BioWare issue and the BioWare writer, where it went from constructive criticism to rampant sort of like sexist, misogynist abuse. And then we have this thing hitting again this week with the Capcom arcade event, where they've been doing this reality streaming show with people fighting against each other, and some really sort of like unsavory comments from members of the fighting community where it's like, oh, it's just banter. And we can handle a bit of banter. I mean, we all do it from time to time. And if you know somebody very well, you know what they can you can get away with, and and vice versa. But some of the crap that was coming out of this guy's mouth is taking it's taking a piss, to be honest with you. And Misty, you're a hardcore gamer. I mean, you do a podcast about NES games.
Yes.
You play a lot of RPGs. I think you have a Zelda tattoo. Is that right?
I do, and I have a Tomb Raider tattoo and a Resident Evil tattoo.
Well, there you go. I think that's your
qualify.
credentials. Yeah. So
that's
I mean,
3 more gaming tattoos than I have.
Yeah. So how do you feel about this crap? I mean, you're the
female.
the girl in the girl in the gaming world. I don't mean girl in a derogatory way. So
no one told me this was going to happen.
Do you get a lot of this shit?
I see both sides. Everyone kind of...
Really? You can see the other side of this?
I kind of do. I mean, because everyone gets behind a mic, and when no one sees your face, everyone says something that's inappropriate.
Do you do that?
I'm sure I've gotten drunk and yelled on Call of Duty at a kid or two,
Yeah.
But then people are like...
But isn't there a difference between that and just saying you suck or I'm better than you and what we're talking
it's
about
totally
here?
different. But some of the things you hear out of those kids' mouths, and they're like 12 and 13, is insane.
Or younger.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here now is obviously, there was a Twitter backlash, or not even a backlash, but this guy, was sitting right then with the girl. They were playing, and she in the end she forfeited the game, got up and walked away because of the bullshit coming out of this guy's mouth. And by the way, it's probably the closest this guy's got to a girl, because
since birth.
Exactly, yeah, because he is one prime piece of hamburger.
That situation definitely was completely inappropriate. There's like fine lines where people have had a similar situation, but not to that extreme. What he did was far too extreme for it.
Well, what bothers me is that he is trying to say, look, that's the way it is in the fighting game scene. That's the way gamers are. Well, I can tell you right now, that dude doesn't speak for me, and I don't want to speak for everybody else either. Like, people like that are the ones who give gamers a bad name. Like, they're the ones who build the stereotypes about us and make people think negatively about us before they get to know us or they meet us. So I hate the fact that that guy is out there spewing out his garbage and that it could make people affect how they look at us and how they think we are.
Definitely.
So I think we should, I think we're all on the same page that this guy's an absolute butt monkey. And I think we should skip on to our NES podcast, which is why, we dragged Damiani on, because he is the old school NES gamer. And so do you want to talk a little bit about, what you do on this podcast? I mean, a lot of people who are watching now, I'm sure some of them weren't even born when the NES was released.
Yeah, I think a lot.
What was it, like, it's the, 25th, 26th anniversary of Zelda?
Yeah, it was last year. It was the 25th.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's 25th anniversary for us in the Americas here, so
yeah.
See if they do anything this year for us. I doubt it, but
no, I do. It's a kind of a YouTube podcast hybrid thing. I do gameplay videos of NES games, SNES games. Probably gonna start doing Sega. I have to find emulators for my computer is how I do it, because it's the way I can screen capture. Not that. I'm just joking. I actually still totally have the system, and I've mastered
bought all the
plugging
games.
it into my PC. Yeah, I've probably bought all the games like 5 times over. Really.
Yeah. You put in your pittance already.
Do you just upload videos, or do you do a let's play, talk over them and stuff?
I do a 10-minute gameplay video, and I do it with my co-host of Bagged and Boarded. It's a Smodcast podcast show, and we kind of pick a topic that we loosely discuss while playing the game and discussing the game. We've done like Addams Family, Kirby, Beetlejuice, like all the really obscure NES games that came out. They used to have an NES game for like every movie that came out.
Oh, we know.
So it was kind of get on tangents, but it seems to be people seem to really like it because we to discuss the game and just random things about life at the same time.
Now, how do you go about determining which games they are? Is it now first is only strictly classic games like NES? You said Sega. Is it just Genesis?
Yeah, for the video.
Do you go to any as far as Saturn or anything like that? Because a lot of people
I haven't figured out how to record Saturn. Saturn is my favorite system.
Yeah. The Saturn, your favorite system?
Definitely, yeah.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time playing Sega Saturn.
Do you have Panzer Dragoon Saga?
My favorite game on Sega Saturn was D.
Oh God!
Yeah, laugh at me. That game was great. I mean, now that I know how to actually play games decently, I can beat the whole game in 45 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And her hair looks like a upside down bowl of ramen noodles.
Yeah. Did you play Enemy Zero?
No.
It's by I forgot the guy's name, the guy from Warp. He made it, and the main character from D, he wanted to have a digital actress. So it's the same character from D as also in Enemy Zero.
Oh,
so it's the same models and everything, even though it's this weird outer space game with invisible aliens and stuff. Also very weird. Also, Ueda, who works on Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, that was his first game he had a title on. So it's kind of a one to hunt down just to see how weird it is.
Panzer Dragoon Saga is worth about $300, so that's why I was asking you if maybe you had it.
And can we borrow it?
Yeah,
it might be at my mom's house. Honestly,
I
had a booklet of just probably 60 Saturn games.
Jesus,
it was my favorite thing. Yeah, and I ruined many a door because I was young and stupid. I didn't know how to. You press the button and the door would open. I'm like, I wonder if I press the button with a stick, what will happen? And I'm like, oh, it'll never close again, and I'll put stuff on top of it.
Now, Misty, do you find it hard to find other women to play games with? And do you want to play games with other women, or do you prefer to play with men?
Well, I actually like RPGs mostly, so I like to play with whoever exists in my fake fantasy world of the game. I have no opposition to playing with women at all, but I find most girls that I've met that are recently into gaming are mostly into Call of Duty, and it's not really the thing that I play the most. But
you find that odd? That would be the game that they're playing?
Yeah, well, I think it's just it's a whole new thing that, the game has got a lot of people into games that wouldn't typically have been into gaming beforehand. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like new school gamers and old school gamers in this world together. But I think most of the games I play are single player, so...
You mentioned RPGs. What are some of your favorite RPGs?
Well, the Elder Scrolls series is my favorite ever. Actually,
fair enough.
I started playing Daggerfall, and I got Arena on my computer as well.
Right.
So I've been playing that, and Skyrim and Oblivion and things like that.
So mostly Western RPGs. Do you get any of the Japanese RPGs at all?
Because Mike D loves Japanese RPGs.
Yeah, I can't get into turn-based fighting.
Really?
Yeah. That's my problem.
There are a few that are more action-oriented.
Like what?
So,
what would you recommend?
The Tales series. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah, the newest one coming out is Grace's F. It's real time. The battle system's real time, so it's not really turn based. There was a Star Ocean a while ago. There's one coming out hopefully in the next 20 years. Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Can I tell you about a little game called Dark Souls?
Oh God! Here we go.
That is so difficult.
That's what I like to hear.
It's so difficult.
That's Japanese.
But I like it, yeah.
And action.
I have it actually on my PS3.
All right, well, let's move on to some Q&A with our fans. Misty, please stick around and definitely share your opinion on some of these questions. Let's see, we've got Ben Bassini from Twitter. What will 343 Studios have to do in Halo 4 in order to revitalize the Halo franchise? Does it need to be revitalized? It still sells really, really well.
Well, how about creatively? What would you say? Let's not talk about sales. Let's talk about Halo as a creative force in the galaxy.
It's all going to hinge on the story, right? I mean, at this point, they're restarting a brand new trilogy. They have to have a really great setup because that's what every great first game does. Is it kind of presents this universe and these players in this universe, and then creates a compelling scenario around those variables. And that is what this game is going to have to do. It's not going to be able to rest on the laurels of past Halo games. Obviously, bringing back Master Chief for this game, I think 343 is pretty lucky for that to be happening. They didn't have to try to bust out like one of the sort of the side story games. They have Master Chief, and that's enough. I mean, he holds a lot of cachet. So, in my opinion, I don't think they have to do anything to revitalize it. I would like to see a really kind of solid first footprint in the sand from this first game in the new trilogy. Ryan, you want
if the Flood's back, I hate the Flood. I'm just over it. If they actually came back, I'd want it to be something that is like a flood. I would like a tidal wave of biomass attacking me.
The tsunami.
That's actually one of my secret dreams.
Well, there definitely has to be a new race of enemies, right? I mean, I think
The
that goes
Covenant's out.
Well, I think they may be there, but I think they need to introduce a new and unique race. Like I thought the Flood was awesome. It's a pain in the ass to fight him, and if you don't have a shotgun, you're pretty much screwed. But they're really freaking cool. I mean, as far as enemies go,
after playing the Covenant with their AI. And then you're attacked with all this stuff that's supposed to be like this teething life form, and it's just there's a couple dudes and there's a lot of them, but it never really hit that level that I was actually hoping for something that's actually called the Flood.
Yeah.
And they're dumb as shit.
I guess the fear is if 343 thinks that bringing back Master Chief is good enough and they can throw him into some lame brain dumbass scenario and that's good enough, I think they're going to be in for a big surprise. So, next question for you, Ryan.
This is from Get a Pundigig or something along those lines. Get up and jig. I don't know how to read. Yes, from Twitter. Do you think that the gaming interface is actually taking a backward step in order to accommodate a new market? I'm not really quite sure what he means by.
I think it's because basically, with Kinect coming in and Move and the Wii U, we're going to tablets and just motion control.
Well, I think we've kind of saw. I mean, that's the proof's in the pudding with the Wii. Everyone was like waggle, 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 and a lot of people 06, 07, 08. People bought a lot of Wiis. People bought.
They were waggling.
A lot of Wii Sports. A lot of people Wii Sports Resort, and maybe one or two other games. Oh, Let's Dance, right? And it worked. I don't know.
For a while.
The Kinect's somewhat successful. The Move is
I personally
available.
love the Kinect.
Yeah, Misty, what did you think about motion games? Do you have a Kinect?
I love the Kinect, yeah. I mean, they're two, it's like whatever you're in the mood for, it's totally different things. Like if I want to sit down and play Skyrim for 6 hours and lose my life, or sometimes I just want to dance.
Yeah.
As silly as it sounds, but Dance Central can be really fun. It kind of replaced, I think, Rock Band and Guitar Hero in a way for like party games.
Yeah.
You kind of get over that initial looking silly, but it's a really fun game, and it's simple, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Do you enjoy playing Dance Central, say, more than you enjoyed playing Rock Band with other people? Because personally, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the Rock Band, Guitar Hero thing far more than I'm enjoying sort of the dance era.
See, I didn't get so much into the Rock Band and all those. I really liked Guitar Hero 1, and after that, I kind of lost interest because I would see like 7-year-olds playing expert, and it's like I'm done.
I suck.
I'm never gonna do well at that. I can play real guitar, beat that,
Yeah.
But I love the dance games because they're just fun, and it's not as I think Dance Central 2 is like much more liberal than Dance Central 1 was on being able to not follow the moves exactly, and it's just more about having fun with people. And now you can do side by side, and nothing's bad about getting off the couch and actually moving.
I agree 1,000%.
Unless somebody videotapes it.
Mike, do you want to take the next question?
Sure. This one comes from blah4 from Twitter. Great name, bud. If you could wipe a game from your memory in order to re-experience it for the first time, which would it be? And for me, it's going to have to say Final Fantasy VII because that was one of the games I didn't play until 5 years after it came out. So I knew everything about it before actually playing it. I knew Eris died. I knew all of that stuff. So when I played
Wait, Eris dies?
Oh no!
Oh,
Should've
no.
said that. That was a game I missed out on. Everyone experienced it. All my friends experienced it. I played Final Fantasy X before I played Final Fantasy VII. So going back to play 7, like I didn't really experience a lot of like that magic with it the first time playing through. I was like, I don't really. I understand it's a good game, but I didn't really get the experience I wanted to. And ever since, I was like, I really wish I could have gone back and actually played that game when it came out, got into RPG like that RPG then, and I just missed the boat with that one. And that one's I think about that a lot, like what it would have been like to play that before I played like Final Fantasy X. So
what about you, Misty?
I think Oblivion. I really didn't get it till like 4 years after it came out. And then it became like my favorite game, one of my favorite games ever. But by then, the same thing. I'd already heard every milestone, everything that happened. It still didn't stop me from playing it, but it was kind of like, oh, I know what happens when I go to Kvatch.
Right.
Great.
What about you, Stevens?
Probably Demon's Souls, the import version.
Wow.
Because it was such a surprise when I picked it up out of our library just to give it a check. And I was like, I'm just going to have to at least beat the first level. And then like 4 hours later, I finally did. And it all opened up, and I was just like, damn.
What about you, Marcus?
I'd actually go out and say almost.
Good question, by the way.
Yeah, any MMO that I've played. I mean, for example, just not knowing anything about WoW and just experiencing that for the first time. I mean, I do remember. I mean, I actually played Asheron's Call and EverQuest when they first came out. And I was playing them in the UK on a dial-up connection, and I just thought they were at the absolute cutting edge and so frigging cool. So to go back and just go, take an MMO from the beginning, that would be so cool.
For me, hands down, Super Mario 64. Never has a game blown my mind the way that game did. Not just because the 3D visuals were the first really good representation of 3D, just the way the analog stick worked, using a camera. That game just literally blew my mind. I still remember the day I took it home. Literally. I don't even have a brain anymore because of that game. I remember I took it home to my mom's house over the holidays or something like that. And first I just booted it up, and she lost her crap just seeing what was on the screen.
You lost your mind and she lost her crap. Wow, there was a lot of losing going on in that.
There was. But a lot of winning at the same time. So she puts her hand on the analog stick, and she was afraid to touch it. Oh. So I'm like, no, you got to push on it. And she pushed on it very slightly, and he starts tiptoeing. And she starts giggling a little bit. I'm like, push it harder. She pushes a little bit farther, and he starts to skip. And then he starts, it just literally, she totally lost it. I don't think you'll ever see anything. Why are you guys laughing so hard? Are you guys really that bad?
Yes.
You're gonna take what I said and transfer that to my mom? Are you that bad?
I'm not the only one laughing, I'll have you know. And everybody behind the camera is laughing too.
I don't see anybody else
you're
laughing.
Seeing things, Marcus.
Anyway, I don't think there'll ever be a game like that ever again. So Super Mario 64 for me. Okay, we have more Diablo 3 codes coming out right now on GameTrailers Facebook page. Like I said, we got 500 to get through, so go and get them. Good luck with that. And it is time for another T-shirt giveaway, which means we have another quiz question for you guys. The last question I asked you was, what trailer did we do the very first pop block for? And the answer to that was Assassin's Creed back on May 4th of 2007. Man, we've been on pop blocks that long.
Yeah, we keep popping.
Keep on popping. So hopefully 5 of you guys got that right, and you are in the process of getting your T-shirts right now. And the next question, and this one needs to be answered on Facebook. So go on GameTrailers wall on Facebook. The first 5 people to post the correct answer there get T-shirts. Here's a question. Which game, and this is perfect timing, which game spurred an argument on invisible walls over a game's setting and false advertising? Go to...
I know the answer to this one. Chucky Egg.
So go to GameTrailers Facebook page. First 5 people to answer with the name of the game that spurred that debate / conversation, you get yourselves some video game T-shirts. So here's the big exclusive for the show. Mass Effect 3. We've been holding this one from you guys for a while. I started talking to Justin, who is reviewing this game. And after he played it for a couple days, I was like, so what's the deal, man? What's the big story? And the first thing that he mentioned to me was, dude, it's pretty burly. And I was like, Mass Effect? Burly, violent blurry? And burly? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no way. And he's like, I'm telling you. So he started showing me some footage that he captured. He was totally right. So we wanted to get an exclusive for this show. And I reached out to EA and I'm like, look, can we put together a montage that really shows off the violence and grit in Mass Effect 3? They said yes. We put it together. Here it is. Yeah, so Mass Effect 3, no joke, man. It's not your older brother's Mass Effect 3. I was really shocked to see the violence in that game. What do you guys think? Justin's here. He's reviewing it. He's the one who gave us the idea for this montage. Are you shocked at how much blood and gore is in the game?
I mean, I'm not necessarily
there are
shocked,
jibs in Mass Effect.
It's a little strange, honestly. You know, the world's a pretty futuristic, clean world, and it's kind of messes it up.
Dirty it up a little bit.
Yeah, but I do know the game is. Yeah, well, we'll talk more about it later, but yeah, combat's not bad.
So we're loving Mass Effect 3. Our review goes up on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. Is that correct?
I think it is.
Yeah, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. our review goes up. We can't really talk about it too much right now, but Marcus does have a few choice words regarding the game that he would love to share with you right now.
Oh yeah, it's time for a rant. All right, and we talked about this a little bit last week with the From Ashes DLC and the fact that there is a playable team member that you can pick up in this DLC, which is a Prothean, and basically, if you buy the collector's edition, it's $79.99. You get the DLC with it. If you buy the basic version, you have to pay another $10 to get this DLC. And I gotta say, I mean, I've got much love for BioWare for everything they've done. For Mass Effect. I mean, the Old Republic. I gotta say, this is I feel this is a misstep because, and again, we're impacted by this because I had a chat with Justin earlier about the review, and when I spoke to the PR people about getting a review copy myself, we won't get the DLC until Tuesday, until it's up and running. So we can't actually review the game with this important character. I mean, if they'd have done, a generic Joe Blow character that wasn't a key part of Mass Effect lore, and just slapped him in there and you could have had him as a bonus, that would have been fine. But I think, honestly, just to cut this guy out of the game, or not put this guy into the game in the first place, and people are going to want to, I'm going to be starting to play this game tomorrow afternoon, and I'm going to be absolutely pissed that I can't play with the Prothean from the get-go. And then, Tuesday, the code's going to be released, the game's going to be, I update, and then what, am I going to go back and replay the previous 30, 40 hours? I mean,
when the DLC happens, maybe.
I mean, it just seems like a very silly mistake when you're talking about such a key character. It's like Ubisoft holding back, Altair's twin brother from Assassin's Creed, or it's just something that for a lot of people, they're expecting this to be the last Mass Effect game, finish up the trilogy, and to hold back such a key character is an epic fail on BioWare's part, in my opinion.
Day one DLC, I think we can all agree, usually 95% of the time just sucks. Like, there's very, very rarely is there a time where they announce DLC that comes out on launch day where you're like, oh, I can see that. Like, no, normally you're like, wait a minute, man. Like, why wasn't it just on the disc?
Yeah, and this has been done by a separate team. They said they annexed it off, and in the 3 months from going to certification at Microsoft and hitting gold, this team put together this DLC. But it's still, it doesn't make any sense. And if they were going to say, oh well, people are going to be so pleased to have this one character to play, it's like, yeah, really? I think there's going to be a lot of people who are pissed that you're pulling him out. Stupid move.
I agree. All right, so it's been 4 years since we launched Invisible Walls. Right now we're going to look 4 years ahead, and we're going to predict what we think will be happening in the gaming industry when Invisible Walls hits episode 400. Ryan.
Shane.
My prediction is...
That worked.
I'm ready to go. My prediction is that the next Xbox
will be announced.
Will be ruling the day. And the Wii U will be already dry of software.
I thought we were going to be talking about what we thought about was happening in Invisible Walls.
No. We're looking into the future.
But I guess I wouldn't be surprised. I guess next week we may see if Apple finally does their crazy TV. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple decides to actually make some sort of hybrid device that is even more pure gaming than an iPad and try to step into that market.
I mean, one thing I will say is that it seems like these days people are much more open to new ideas. I think the Wii kind of primed the pump for that, and people are like, okay, I took a chance on this new idea. I ended up enjoying it. I felt like I got my money's worth, and now they're maybe a little bit more liable to take on some risk than they were in the past. Whereas I think once PlayStation won that first era that it was in, people just automatically kind of jumped to the PlayStation 2 without even really thinking about it, to be honest with you, because the launch of the PS2 was pretty piss poor. The hardware was the worst of the three.
You didn't like Street Fighter EX3?
It really had, there was really no reason the PlayStation 2 led the next generation. It was just people saying, I liked my PlayStation, I'm moving on to the PS2. Now, that did not carry over for the PlayStation 3 because the Wii was so disruptive. I question whether there's going to be something as disruptive as that going forward. And I think that's why you may see kind of that old hangover again where people are like, I really love my Xbox 360. I think I feel pretty good about jumping on the next one, especially now that everything's kind of even. Everybody has motion controls. Everyone's console is 3D compatible. I just think that it's, to me, it's leading down a path where the next Xbox is primed to be pretty successful. What about you, Justin? Any predictions for 4 years from now?
I don't know. I would say I think motion controls are already kind of on the way out, and I think as a primary means of controlling games, I think people will be totally over it. 3D is going to be in it. Yeah, this is more like I mean, hey, maybe episode 1 or 280. I don't know.
Yeah, it was done.
I mean, I think 3D will also be dead. I mean, in terms of new stuff, I don't know. It's so hard to look ahead, years ahead in technology, and sound like you know what you're talking about. Especially so I won't try it, except to say that we will probably be plugging brains directly into our games directly into our brain. Yeah.
I'd like to see you plug a brain
Retina
into
displays.
a game.
Yeah, that may, he may actually be onto something.
Yeah.
What about you, Marcus?
It'll be your phone too. Your phone will be plugged in.
And if you're on AT&T, you go brain dead. I'm going to agree with you, actually, Shane. I think the next Xbox will be ruling the roost. But I will go one step further, and I will say that Sony will have the absolute best, most powerful console out there. But true to form, they will not be able to market it worth a damn. And even though they have some great first-party exclusives and a kick-ass console, they will still be in second place. But they will be ahead. They'll be ahead of the Wii U, but they still won't have a bloody clue. So they haven't the lessons from the PS3 or the Vita.
Sonic games will get worse.
That's a pretty safe bet. They've been doing that for the last 10 years. So, all right. So as you guys can tell, obviously the show has changed drastically. Here we are live streaming to you guys instead of recording in a conference room and cutting the whole thing together. It's going to open up a lot of opportunities for us going forward for the show. Obviously, it's a lot more immediate. We have immediate feedback with you guys. The Q&A has been awesome. You guys have been asking great questions. We're not going to go into full detail about what the future of Invisible Walls holds. One thing we can tell you, though, is that the avatars are going away. And so we've done a tribute to the avatars. So at the beginning of the show, we showed you a brand new segment called Breeding Pool, courtesy of Justin Spear. And I also told you how much I love it. We are now going to reveal the answer to Breeding Pool. And here you go. Did you guess it?
I guessed
knew
it
the answer.
when you told me the answer.
Yeah, I think it's. I love that segment, but it's going to be pretty tough to guess what the actual game is. And obviously, that was Asura's Wrath. It makes total sense when you start going back and looking through the games, but it definitely takes some forethought. So I'll be interested to see if any of you guys got it before we actually give you guys the answer later on in the show. So we are starting to wind things down here. This is our final fan Q&A of the show. We are now blasting tons of Diablo 3 codes onto the Invisible Walls Twitter. This is the last Diablo blast, so get over there.
But don't stop watching the show, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we have some special stuff coming here before the end. In fact, we have something at the end of the show that only the people who are watching this live stream are going to get. It is not going up in the archive of the show, which actually segues very nicely right into the very first question we have here. Let's see, from Twitter, from Fur90, are you going to post Invisible Walls 200 later for those who will miss it, or is it only going to be a live thing? It will be posted later. There will be an archive. It will not be up until tomorrow. But like I just mentioned, there are some things in this show that will not be in the archive to reward those of you who showed up to watch this live, and we appreciate it. Marcus, you got the next one.
Okay, so I've got one from Edgar Du Nobre. Which game series would you want to see revitalized? Well, I mean, for me, this is an absolute given. I've said it time and time and time again.
Can we guess?
You guess away.
Dungeon Keeper.
Absolutely. I want to see Dungeon Keeper. I've been playing a Facebook equivalent, which is kind of fun.
I thought it might be Ghost Recon.
No, I mean, look,
like the real Ghost Recon.
No,
as you
a
said.
tax sim.
I'd love to see more tax sims, but no, Dungeon Keeper is just one of my all-time favorite games, and I'd love a new version, or at least HD remake, if you will. But Shane, what would you like to see revitalized?
That's a tough one, man. I mean, a lot of the games that I really liked, they have revitalized already. I used to be a huge Tribes fan, and I felt like the last couple Tribes games they put out were pretty much crap.
But you're playing Ascend now, yeah?
Tribes Ascend, I'm enjoying a great deal because it goes back to the heart of Tribes. It's all about skiing, being really good with your spin fuser. It's a lot more simple than the last couple Tribes games, which I felt like they overcomplicated. So yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot. But as far as franchises to revitalize, I feel like they're almost going to the point now where they're bringing back franchises that don't need to be brought back. Like Syndicate, why? To me, personally. XCOM, smart. Syndicate, to me, not so
XCOM
much.
for Axis, smart.
Right.
XCOM squad-based shooter, meh.
Yep.
Ryan,
next question.
That would be from Paul Louis I guess.
Lewelt, I think.
Lewelt? Okay.
Paul Lewelt from Twitter.
Paul Lewelt from Twitter says, is there room or opportunity to have a truly comedy-based video game? Something like Bard's Tale, but successful. Well, I'm pretty sure Schaefer's Kickstarter adventure game is going to be that.
Yeah.
I think maybe the bigger question is, can you do comedy in a non-adventure game? I mean, the Telltale games do this as well. But, we had, what was that game? Death Spank?
Yeah.
That was, and Ron Gilbert again there.
I mean, a lot of the comedy is visual. If you look at the Lego
$60 retail game,
they have funny bits in them. But
what was the last really funny game you guys have played? For me, I think it was like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Game.
I don't know.
No, do you mean intentionally funny?
Well, yeah. I mean, not so bad that it's funny, but they wrote jokes and the jokes were funny. You actually laughed at them.
Was Brutal Legend any funny? I didn't actually play it, Justin.
It was okay.
There were some fun bits before the RTS
some
crap
funniness
came
in there.
Yeah,
I think it got kind of more serious toward the end, and maybe it stumbled a little bit. But it was okay. There's some laughs, definitely some good stuff, some good music in the game at least.
Yeah, I think it's more. It's tough to do the right thing for a comedy game, if you will, because like I said, it's a very personal thing. What makes me laugh isn't necessarily going to make anybody else at this table laugh.
Probably won't. Yeah.
You probably won't. Yeah. But then you look at the visual stuff of, like I said, some of the silly little sight gags that you get, like in the Lego games. They make you smile. Are they funny? They make you chuckle. But it's a very, very tough one to call. And I'd love to see somebody do something, but I think it's just for the masses, it's going to be so tough because you have to dumb it down to the lowest common denominator. Benny Hill Simulator. Who wants there you go. I want
just running in high speed motion.
Chasing Marcus, little girls and slapping bald people on the head.
I hope none of the masses are watching our show because they might feel kind of insulted.
All right, so that's it for the final Q&A. That's it for the beta codes. In fact, that is pretty much it for Invisible Walls episode 200. Where's the beer at? We need a toast here,
He's
fellas.
right to the right of you.
Yeah.
No.
No beer, but we
I
have
need
cake.
plural. I need beers.
We have cake.
So we
got-
do have a cake for the 200th episode of Invisible Walls.
And if you answer this trivia question,
hey, we'll blow out.
Follow us on
a
Twitter.
candle. If you follow us on Twitter, we
Yeah,
might blow them out.
We have to blow these out, otherwise the smoke alarm's going to get off, and then we'll be down for the night. So.
Well, listen, before we go, we just want to say thank you guys so much. I know this show was really loaded with like pre-produced packages and things like that, but what we really wanted to do was interact with you guys. And I know the Twitter thing's a little convoluted and blah, blah, blah. It's just part of being a business. But at the heart of this show is people like you. You're the people who come and watch the show every week. If it weren't for people like you, we wouldn't have the show. We definitely wouldn't be doing 200, and we definitely wouldn't be doing it live. Going forward, we retired the avatars. We are going to have cameras recording the show. Marcus, chill out, dude. It's not going to set off a fire alarm. We're going to have cameras recording the show going forward. The avatars are dead. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of us for better or worse. Hopefully for better, in your opinion. But thank you guys so much. If anybody in Europe is still awake right now, send a message to my personal Twitter account at Dinfire, and I promise you I'll give you something from my personal whatever I've got. Because if you're up this late in Europe to watch this show, you're the effing man. So,
or the woman.
And look, the beer did finally show up. Can I have one, please? Yes, you may. Just make sure you turn the labels away, gentlemen.
We are drinking.
Thank you.
So, let's just offer up a toast to the fans of Invisible Walls. Thank you all so much for your support. We have one last piece of video to share with you guys that is just for you, the people who stuck around to watch the live stream. So thank you. Cheers. Here's to the next 200. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure working with you guys. Thanks to everybody who's worked on the show all these years, all the people who have come on, who have come and gone. There are 20 people who worked on this live show that are standing outside right now. I want to thank them. They're awesome. Without them, we could not do this. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the very last piece of video. Invisible Walls loves you, and we are up and out.
Woo! Woo!